Imagine a time when smartphones weren't even a twinkle in some inventor's eye. Wild, right? No social media, no instant messaging, just pure, unadulterated human interaction. That's where the Aksumite Empire comes in. They were the OG kings of bling, dominating the trade game from around 100 AD to 600 AD. Picture a bustling marketplace filled with the finest goods from across the known world. Think ancient Ethiopia and Eritrea, and you've got the location. This was the heart of the Aksumite Empire, a land rich in culture and history. These guys were the ultimate middlemen, controlling the hottest trade routes connecting the Roman Empire, India, and Arabia. They were the bridge between East and West, facilitating the exchange of goods, ideas, and culture. It was like having all the best vendors at your fingertips. Imagine walking through a market where you could find anything from exotic spices to luxurious silks. They were rolling in gold, ivory, and frankincense, the ancient world's equivalent of oil, diamonds, and designer handbags. These commodities were highly prized and brought immense wealth to the empire. And just like anyone with serious cash to flash, they built some seriously impressive stuff. Their architectural achievements were nothing short of spectacular. We're talking towering obelisks, grand palaces, and cities that would make your jaw drop. These structures were not only a testament to their wealth, but also to their engineering prowess. They weren't just surviving, they were thriving. The Aksumite Empire was a beacon of prosperity and innovation in the ancient world. But hey, even the best parties have to end sometime, right? The decline of the Aksumite Empire was gradual, but their legacy lives on in the ruins and stories they left behind. The Aksumites knew how to pick a prime piece of real estate. They set up shop in what's now Ethiopia and Eritrea, right on the Red Sea. Imagine a bustling port city with ships from all corners of the known world dropping anchor. That was Adulis, the Aksumite Empire's gateway to global trade. This strategic location gave them a front-row seat to the hottest trade routes, connecting the Roman Empire in the north to India and beyond in the east. They were like the ultimate middlemen, connecting buyers and sellers and taking a tidy profit along the way. This prime location, combined with their savvy trading skills, made the Aksumites the envy of the ancient world. The Aksumites weren't just lucky with their location, they were also incredibly resourceful. Their land was rich in gold, ivory, and frankincense, commodities that were more sought after than a new iPhone on launch day. Gold, of course, was the universal currency of bling. Ivory? Well, let's just say elephants were in high demand, for their tusks, not for rides, sadly. And frankincense? That was the ancient world's air freshener, used in religious ceremonies and to mask the less than pleasant smells of daily life. These guys were exporting these goods like there was no tomorrow, amassing wealth that would make even today's billionaires green with envy. They even minted their own coins, a sure sign you've made it in the ancient world. Ever heard of the saying, "If you've got it, flaunt it"? The Aksumites took that to heart. They poured their newfound wealth into building projects that would make even the most jaded Instagram influencer say, "Wow." Their capital city, Aksum, creative, right, was home to towering obelisks, some even taller than the Statue of Liberty. These weren't just random stone pillars, though. They were intricately carved and served as giant grave markers for their kings. Talk about resting in style. But they didn't stop there. They built grand palaces, sprawling marketplaces, and even underground tombs. These architectural marvels weren't just about showing off, though. They were a testament to the Aksumites' skill, ingenuity, and cultural sophistication. Section 5. Shifting sands, changing fortunes, the rise of Islam. Now imagine you're at the top of your game, life's a party, and then bam! The music stops, the laughter fades, and the once vibrant atmosphere turns eerily quiet. That's what the rise of Islam in the 7th century AD was like for the Aksumites. It was a monumental shift, a seismic change that altered the course of history. It wasn't just a new religion on the block, it was a game changer. Islam brought with it a new way of life, new laws, and a new sense of unity among its followers. See, Islam came with its own trade routes and economic systems, which started to overshadow the Aksumites' long-held dominance. The Aksumites, who once controlled the trade in the region, found themselves sidelined. It was like suddenly everyone was shopping online instead of going to the mall. The traditional ways of doing business were being replaced by new, more efficient methods. The once bustling port of Adulis started to look more like a ghost town as trade dwindled. Ships that once brought wealth and prosperity now sailed to different shores. It was a slow decline, not a sudden collapse, but the writing was on the wall for the Aksumite Empire. The empire that once stood tall and proud was now facing an uncertain future, its glory days fading into history. Section 6. When it rains, it pours. Climate change throws a wrench in the works. As if the rise of Islam wasn't enough of a headache, Mother Nature decided to throw in her 2 cents, and by 2 cents, we mean a whole lot of climate change. See, the Aksumites relied heavily on agriculture, and their region was hit by a series of prolonged droughts. Crops failed, fields turned to dust, and the once fertile land became parched and barren. Imagine the chaos if your local supermarket suddenly ran out of, well, everything. It was a tough time to be an Aksumite farmer, that's for sure. Section 7. From Farm to Famine. The Aksumite Dust Bowl. Remember how the Aksumites were agricultural rock stars? Well, even the best farmers can't fight against Mother Nature forever. With the changing climate, their once reliable farming practices started to backfire. They had been farming intensively for centuries, and the soil was exhausted. It was like trying to run a marathon on an empty stomach, just not sustainable. This perfect storm of climate change and over-farming led to widespread soil erosion and desertification. The fertile land that had once been the backbone of their empire was literally blowing away in the wind. It was a slow and painful decline, like watching your favorite sports team lose game after game after game. Section 8. Shrinking borders, shrinking power. With their economy in shambles and their once fertile lands turning to dust, the Aksumites found themselves in a precarious position. It was like trying to defend a sandcastle from a tidal wave. Neighboring kingdoms, sensing weakness, started to encroach on their territory. The Aksumites, once feared and respected, were forced to fight defensive wars to protect what little they had left. It was a losing battle. They were like a boxer who had once been a knockout artist, but was now just trying to survive each round. Slowly but surely, the once mighty Aksumite Empire began to shrink, its borders receding like a receding hairline. Section 9. Fading into the sands of time. By the 10th century AD, the Aksumite Empire, once a shining beacon of wealth and power, had faded into obscurity. It was like the last guest leaving the party, turning off the lights and locking the door. Their once bustling cities were abandoned. Their grand monuments slowly crumbled under the weight of time. The exact reasons for their final downfall are still debated by historians, but the combination of factors we've discussed, the rise of Islam, climate change, over-farming, and territorial losses, certainly played a major role. It was a slow and gradual decline, more of a whimper than a bang, but it marked the end of an era. Section 10. Echoes of an Empire. Though the Aksumite Empire may be lost to the sands of time, its legacy lives on. This ancient civilization, which once thrived in what is now modern-day Ethiopia, was a beacon of culture and power in the ancient world. The towering obelisks of Aksum still stand today, a testament to their architectural prowess. These monolithic structures, some reaching over 20 meters in height, were not just markers of graves, but symbols of the empire's grandeur and engineering skills. Their unique language and script, Ge'ez, continues to be used in liturgical contexts by the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church. This ancient script, which dates back to the early days of the Aksumite Empire, is a living link to the past, connecting modern Ethiopians to their rich heritage. And their contributions to art, architecture, and trade continue to inspire and intrigue historians and archaeologists today. The Aksumites were masterful traders, connecting Africa with the Roman Empire, India, and beyond, leaving behind a legacy of cultural exchange and economic prowess. The Aksumites may be gone, but they left their mark on the world, proving that even the most powerful empires can crumble, leaving behind only echoes in the wind. These echoes, however, are not just remnants of a bygone era, but lessons etched in history. But those echoes can teach us valuable lessons about the rise and fall of civilizations, the impact of environmental change, and the enduring power of human ingenuity. By studying the Aksumite Empire, we gain insights into how societies adapt, thrive, and ultimately, how they can falter, reminding us of the delicate balance that sustains human progress.